Hello everybody, my name is Zen, and I'm going to be taking a look at tModLoader for Terraria 1.4. Now, I should mention that this is not going to be a full playthrough, because tModLoader in its current alpha state for 1.4 is super unstable and is being updated all the time, and everything is going to break. On top of that, a bunch of mods just totally aren't available, but my playthrough will come at a later date. But I figured we'd jump in and check it out and kind of see what's up and what's available, and is it working in 1.4? Let's quickly take a look at the mod browser. So they changed the way that it works compared to 1.3.5 tModLoader. So I've enabled a few different mods here. I've got OSWguild, which is the new version of Vein Miner. I have Magic Storage because it's amazing, and if you've watched my other playthroughs, my modded playthrough in particular, you'll know how good it is. Summoner Association basically adds a bunch of different stuff for Summoner and makes it better, and then I've done the Clicker class because I think it's hilarious. It is as it sounds. You make like a cursor item, and then you click things to deal damage to them, and it's kind of funny. I'll show you not only how that is really fun and kind of cool, but also how to totally break it. So if you wanted to download more mods, the thing basically looks the same. There's not a lot here. You're not going to find, in its current state, you're not going to find Calamity or Thorium or anything like that. This is just a bunch of different mods, and honestly, a lot of them are being updated quite frequently. Like this was 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 9 hours, right? Like stuff are coming to the mods for tModLoader 1.4, but it's just not enough yet to be like, yes, I'm going to do a modded playthrough. Unless you really just want to play 1.4 with a couple of mods, like like Magic Storage and whatnot. All right, so just like usual, I'm going to jump in. I've already created a world, and as you can see, everything is in Journey now. So like I can create just a normal character, just like you can in 1.4, but you can also do Journey mode. So we're gonna do a little bit of Journey mode. As you would expect with 1.4 and now running mods, we have wind going, which is one of the 1.4 features that's really cool. I'm starting with a Finch staff because this is Journey mode, which by the way, we can absolutely go ahead and do normal Journey mode things, which is just go ahead and start. You know what? I'm gonna do this with my axe too. Basically, I'm gonna go in here and research everything and then pull it all back out because that's the way we roll. But I should mention that if you are interested in playing tModLoader in 1.4 with its current alpha, it is intended to be for developers. This isn't the intention here is not for you to be able to go and play through the mod and I don't want to put all those in there and be able to do it flawlessly. The intention is simply to be able to have the modders actually come in and add a bunch of their stuff and try to get it to work and figure out what's broken and what's not. But if you want to play it, you do have to go join the tModLoader Discord, which you could do from their website, and then follow the instructions there. Now, the first thing that we're going to do, get rid of those 99 workbenches now that I've done that. The first thing that we're going to do is come over to the wooden clicker, which is the new weapon for the clicker class, which is hilarious. Actually, that one's quite good. I'm going to keep that one. I'm just going to make another one to research. The way that it works is quite funny. So we're going to put this here instead of our sword. It puts a circle around you, and then when you click is when it does damage, right? So it's... you would assume that it's going to give you carpal tunnel, and you would assume correctly in that regard if you're just going to be clicking a whole lot. But it's not just this weapon. You do get additional ones as you go. You'll get better weapons as you go, and on top of that, they have different effects. Like there's one that explodes into a bunch of different projectiles after clicking. I think it's like 10 times. There's one that, well, actually, mostly they all have different effects the more that you click. And as you can see there, like it does what, 4 or 5 damage for this one. And it does have the stat of -1 clicks required, which if I was doing something that was requiring me to have a certain amount of clicks for a thing to happen, that would affect that. But the consideration here is that you are limited in damage based on how quickly you can click, which is kind of a funny concept. But that also, if you're like me, leads you to think, wait a second, well, how can I exploit this? Because there is a way to do so, indeed. So it is possible to make this thing stupidly overpowered. I'm gonna show you how with this worm. And then I'm going to explain what's going on here. Now, as a Diablo player, as a person who put a lot of time into Diablo and continues to do so and having it a large part of my life, when you click, you know, you tend to get pretty quick with it. Like as a Diablo player, I'm fairly quick with clicking. Most people could achieve this amount of clicking, which this weapon is limited by line of sight, as you can see with the circle. Totally makes sense. It's the original, like, weapon, or it's the first weapon that you can make with this. But when you're limited by how much damage you can do from clicking like this, you can see it's not bad. I mean, it does a lot of damage, but you can exploit it, because also as a Diablo player, you want to figure out how you can have the least amount of carpal tunnel occurring at any point. So back in the day when I first really started getting into Diablo 3, I opened up Razer Synapse, which is the program that Razer uses for all their peripherals to kind of like save settings. And I enabled a macro, or I recorded a macro, which is I can turn it off and on. It's an enabled or disabled thing with a simple key press. And what it does is it allows me to click really fast. Think of this as like turbo mode from like old school controllers, if any of you remember those. The thing is, I've just recorded it to click once every like 0.1 second is what it is. So it's not super overpowered. I mean, you could change it where it's faster than that, but just to not break games or anything like that. It's just a simple enable, disable, and it's just a left click macro that I have. And the reason it's there is because in Diablo, in order to not get a bunch of carpal tunnel, I simply just want to pick things up and to just quickly enable and then disable it. But as you can see, it's really stupid overpowered. So yes, this mod is really cool. I like the clicker class. I like it by default, but I did want to mention that, yes, it is absolutely 100% possible to completely cheese it. So if you wanted to do that and just kind of have some fun, why not, right? Why not? And for those of you wondering if that is technically against the terms of service for Blizzard and Diablo, it's not. I'm not using anything that I wouldn't be able to do like outside of just clicking my mouse. And I'm only using it for looting stuff anyways, at the very least. So it's not like it's not breaking anything as far as that is concerned. But just keep that in mind in case you do want to use macro stuff. It's not advised unless it's just simply what I'm doing here. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Forgot to set the difficulty to master mode, because that is definitely a 1.4 thing that you need, which is going to set this to be a little bit more difficult. But, you know, when you have the ultimate clicking ability, it's not that difficult. You know what? I think I'm going to try to avoid using that mostly, but it is kind of fun to do. Also, by the way, journey mode, you forget it when you play so much like modded 1.3.5, but journey mode is awesome with these wings they give you. They are very overpowered. Nope. Die, red slime. They do so much damage, or not the wings, but they allow you to get around very easily, so that way you can navigate the world a lot easier. And I like that a lot. I think it's kind of nifty as someone who's played enough Terraria to be like, okay, when can I just get some kind of additional movement abilities? I might go ahead and go back, not because of that worm showing up, but because honestly, I want to go try some 1.4 stuff. You know, when you actually just use the clicking ability for being a clicking ability, it is really cool. You don't have to cheese it. Although this is hilarious when you just like, die, nerds. I am invulnerable, even though I'm in journey mode and could also make myself invulnerable. This feels better. I found my first real oasis. I literally, let's look. I went all the way over to this edge of the world, found the dungeon and everything. Did find a desert, but not really an oasis. So it's kind of cool to be like, oh yeah, this is 1.4, isn't it? We definitely did find a 1.4 feature. Part of me really wants to go underground there and explore the underground desert, because that is definitely a feature of 1.4. It's a difficult feature of 1.4, and it's not necessarily one that you typically want to go into right off the bat. But if you're feeling bold, there's, why not? There's fossils and whatnot that you can get out of that. So actually, you know what? I think that's a pretty good idea. I like the idea of going down and doing that. Hey, we got a step stool. It is a pretty funny thing to be able to get. I like the step stool. Just out of pure, it's cool kind of thing. It's not really that useful though. Aha, I finally did it. I had to go down quite the quite the long path here through the desert in order to get down here. But we have successfully entered the desert, the underground desert, which is nice because again, it's a 1.4 feature. We may as well do it. Uh-oh. Got tomb crawlers. We're using our cheaty method of, oh no, don't hit that, of killing things. Can we click this? Is this gonna, oh yeah, there it goes. Don't want to get hit by those. I'm telling you, the desert is so dangerous. Oh my goodness. It's kind of crazy. You don't want to break any of these eggs because these little guys come out. And these things have so much life in master mode. They're ridiculous. I love the underground desert. It's actually kind of fun to be able to jump in here on modded and be able to explore it because I don't, when I play 1.4, I don't usually come down here anymore because it's just too much. It's a little too difficult. And you do get a lot out of it, but it's not really worth the effort that you put into it, right? So it's something to consider anytime you want to do the desert. It's like, is it really going to be worth the time and effort I got to put into it? And then all the dying I may end up doing. It's rough. It is really rough. But one thing I do want to kind of talk about while we're here in the desert is the fact that I am so happy that even in the slightest of what we can do here, I'm so excited to be able to play modded in 1.4 now. Like the fact that I could just go into the underground desert with a clicker class and like what is essentially vein miner or excavator or whatever they called it. It's awesome. I am in a really bad spot. All right. Oh, there we go. We died. Oh dear. Even with an overpowered class with my breaking of the game, I can still die. But that's because I don't have God mode turned on in journey mode. And honestly, I think that's the way people should play is just allow yourself to die. It's more fun. Though I am also going to make it daylight because that's the way we roll. You know what's something cool that I'm really looking forward to is that in 1.4 we have the Bestiary, and obviously filling out the Bestiary is pretty nice because you get more and more stuff with the whatever her name is, the squirrel girl. I don't remember exactly what she is called, but the new NPC. And the thing with this is when we're playing, I don't know, let's say we're playing Calamity being a great example, or even like Thorium or something like that. The stuff that you're fighting in that mod is going to be now tracked in this journal, and it's just a really cool integration thing. But it does go once again to show like it's going to take a bit for these mods, for these bigger mods to hit 1.4. It's just the way of things. It's unfortunately, it takes a lot of time and effort to figure out how to get these things to integrate with 1.4 in the first place, on top of actually getting it to work without many issues. So like for me, I'm really excited in that regard to be playing these bigger mods in 1.4, but I'm also, oh crap. Okay, this is bad. No. Oh. I'm also understanding that, yeah, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time, which is why I'm just kind of jumping in, doing this with the clicker class to be like, hey, 1.4 on tModLoader is available. You can play it. There's not a lot of mods available for you to play, but it is an option. And if you're willing to have your game break multiple times and things just not work every now and then, you can jump in right now and start playing it. But at the same time, I'm also really looking forward to being able to play things like Calamity and Thorium, because those bigger mods are awesome. They add so much to an already existing great game, and being able to play those mods is especially in 1.4, which I think is a significantly better update than any other version of Terraria. It's just going to make the game so much better to me. And I can't wait to do a series on it. It may not be anytime within the next couple months, but the moment that I'm able to actually play a stable version of Calamity or Thorium or something like that, we'll see what mod I end up actually doing. It may be first come, first serve, honestly. I'm going to jump in and start doing another Terraria series, and I'm really looking forward to that because people are very happy with the series that we did for Hardcore 1.4 and for Calamity. And I want to do other things. I want to see what we can do in modded and try to make it work. And also check out, modded 1.4, because 1.4 is so good. I can't wait to get back into getting pylons set up and stuff. It's actually quite fun, and I like setting up unique bases that are themed around, whatever area I'm setting up a base in. If it's a desert base, I like doing little pyramids and stuff. It's just fun, and it inspires creativity for me as stupid boulders, as opposed to, in 1.3.5 just being like, well, I'm going to make a giant condo with all of these NPCs in it, especially modded NPCs. I'm curious how mods are going to handle the setup with pylons. Some mods, like, for instance, Calamity and Thorium, have a bunch of NPCs that they add to the game. So, are you going to have to be able to gain happiness from them? Those mods also add new biomes. Are we going to be able to get pylon specific, for those biomes in 1.4, and with those mods, are we going to be able to, have to more creatively create these little towns and stuff? Like, I think there's so much potential there, and I'm looking forward to it so very much. So if you guys are interested in playing 1.4 on tModLoader, you can go get it right now. But just know that it is intended for developers. You have to join the tModLoader Discord in order to figure out how to get access to it to begin with. And then once you do that, you can jump right in and start testing mods. I will warn you that things do break. I started testing 1.4 on tModLoader when it first came out, like over a month ago. And nothing worked when I logged back in recently to check out, how it's doing. So just kind of keep that in mind, as things sometimes will break. So don't get too attached to whatever you're doing. And then on top of that, keep an eye out for these mods. And when they do update, go test them. Go check them out and give feedback and see what is working and what isn't. Because the quicker we get these things tested, the quicker that 1.4 stuff in tModLoader gets implemented, the quicker I'm able to do a full-on playthrough of this stuff. And I'm really looking forward to that. I love that journey mode stuff is here. I think that it's by itself is worth it over just going and playing standard Terraria. Unless you haven't played the Terraria 1.4 update, then by all means go do that first. But for the most part, yeah, go get magic storage working and stuff like that. It's awesome. It just makes the game a lot better. It adds so much to an already fantastic game, and I cannot wait to start doing a full-on modded series. So with all of that being said, thank you guys for watching. Let me know which mods you're most looking forward to in 1.4, and we shall see you guys next time.